Why don't we say hi to YouTube real quick? Hi YouTube, I hope you guys are doing well. Hey, welcome back. I don't know what else to say other than like welcome back to the channel. Hey, I have been informed that there is a lot of TOS in this show, so I'm gonna be straight up. When there is a TOS element, the screen will go blank. You will not be able to see anything because we are trying to go ahead and be safe and sound for YouTube or for Twitch as well, especially for Twitch. So it has to go ahead. What's up, Fetonius? How you doing? Fentonius Rex. So we are gonna go ahead and just keep that up just for safety standards, like making sure that we're okay on both sides. Guys, also come follow us on Twitch Fridays and Sundays. We tend to stream throughout the week. We will be streaming. If you do see me online, it'll probably be some games. We're probably doing Minecraft, and some other gifted games like Hellblade, Sanoa's whatever, and I forgot the other one, Zero Ranger, and we have a couple of big ones out there that we're gonna go to be playing, including Nier. If you guys see me online Monday through Friday, it's probably just gonna be a quick game thing, but Fridays and Sundays are really, really strong, popular anime days that we tend to go through. So yeah, just giving you a heads up. We do tend to pause and analyze the anime, and we do tend to go ahead and go through all of this. All right, guys, you guys ready? All right, let's get right into it. Oh, well, hold on. Ayer le tiré un sería prendido y mi primo se quemó y estaba cerca del gas. Mi PC se murió, Doggy. De todas las cosas, estás diciendo que te da más tristeza que se murió tu PC después de que la casa haya explotado. Ay, ay, Doggy. Ya tiro. Me sacaste fuera de onda, honestamente, hasta ahorita. Yeah, okay, guys, be careful. This is the first minute of the episode. Ooh, okay, I'll back it up. All right, I guess this is a treat. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to make sure that I at least am able to go ahead and like take off the display here. Okay, good. Backing it up. Sorry.
上の妹荒木カレン中学3年生6月末に誕生日を迎えて15歳子供の頃から運動が得意な活発なやつではあったがその才能はどうやら戦闘行為にこそ向いていたらしくあっという間に空手の黒帯を取ったその姿はハマりすぎていてあんまり女の子という感じではない男勝りとまでは言わないが攻撃的な釣り目も手伝ってどこかボーイッシュなのだ
What are you talking about? That's so fucking hot and cute and whatnot. Like somebody that knows how to defend themselves and is actually able to go ahead and have a good time and a fun time while being able to like practice that martial arts or whatever. That's fucking amazing. There's this weird, there is a weird stigma around shit where it's like, oh, you're feminine. You shouldn't be practicing martial arts. You shouldn't be learning like jujitsu or boxing or kickboxing or Muay Thai or judo or something, right? And it's like, hey, yo, like, what are you talking about? That's so fucking cool, dude. That's legit amazing. Like, learn how to defend yourself in some way, shape, or form.
続いて下の妹荒木月日中学2年生誕生日は4月の頭でつまり現在14歳
And because of that, guys, dark screen for you.
なんというか外見通りの中身なのだが
This ain't bad.
月日は外見が中身を裏切っている
Oh, that one is. Okay, that one is. That one is. That one is. There's. Okay, hold on. As we're going through it. In case you guys are wondering, you guys can follow along. You guys can watch the full video back where it needs to be, but I do have to go and state. I'm kind of questioning the validity of those shots. They could have put it in any other way, so why did they choose to completely get her naked, I guess? That's the best way for me to put it, if we're going to be realistic about it. Like, you know, animate that. That's... I get that she's extremely feminine, and I get that the whole like montage that they're trying to go for is showing this duality, right? This juxtaposition between one and the other. But in that, I'm also like, how far is this show gonna go with this whole thing? Like, am I about to go ahead and bring out Alabama Ed here and like, you know, be talking about Wincest the whole time or what? Like, what like, you know, boundaries and all of this shit or what? Anyway, hold on, let's keep going. しかしその内面はカレン以上に攻撃的でしかも怒りっぽいその怒りっぽさはもはやヒステリーと言ってもいいレベルである頭がの気に中の That's an interesting perspective. That's an interesting. Okay, so apparently her getting triggered is known as hysterics. You being passionate about a topic. Oh yeah, you're just hysterical. And that's also interesting how mostly like with guys, you don't really hear concepts or these words pop up as often, right? I'm not saying every guy because I'm sure that like, stuff is out there, but specifically when it comes to like female characters, you tend to hear that a little bit more. Like, oh yeah, they're having an outburst or something. Oh yeah, they're just being hysterical, but you don't necessarily hear that about guy characters as much, or especially I don't know, Arakun that likes to go ahead and approach ghost girls and try and kiss them in inappropriate sections and do certain weird shit, dude. Like, okay, let's go ahead and bring that up. But it is a sun and moon mentality off of that. However, that also means that like they probably complement each other pretty well.
ファイヤーシスターズ2人はお助け隊というか世直し組というかなんかそんな正義の味方ごっこを
I made it. Had a class today and later again. Touch me. You made it.
もちろんそんなことを彼女たちに言えば
ごっこじゃないよ兄ちゃん正義の味方じゃなくて正義そのものだよお兄ちゃん
というに決まっているあいつらの言いそうなことは大体わかるのだしかし僕は声を大にして言うことができる荒木カレンと荒木月日彼女たちファイヤーシスターズの行為はやはり正義の味方ごっこでしかないのだと僕の自慢の妹たちお前たちはどうしようもなく偽物なのだと
Wait, why? Before we even jump into this. Also, hi, Touch Me. Well, great of you to be able to make it. This is one thing I've been wondering since Bakemonogatari, which is, first off, like, what is your genuine relationship? And number two, why do I feel like it's probably going to get into a weird cis bro con complex, right? Like, clearly we've already seen the screen had to go black a little bit because it was showing one of his sisters completely naked, per se, right? In a way to show femininity in that aspect. But it's interesting because even through showing that, they also Nisemono, which means fake Gatari story, fake story. But even through that, like my thing is, what is your relationship like, and also why is this an important element in the overall story that's going to be told, right? Are we going to find out that they actually have powers, like the power to be able to foresee something, or something that implies to the supernatural element, which may come into play later on, or is this just a juxtaposition in which they have to play on different roles altogether? The title is always a play on words, probably, dude. It probably is. I'm like, I don't know. Like, just taking a step back and looking at this, I'm like, where does this fit into the grand event of situations? Unless it's like an origin for what's to come, or unless it's like his narrative that might be shattered because these sisters clearly have their own personalities and whatnot. And I'm guessing that they have a thing for him, just like every other fucking female character in the Gatari series. So why don't we go ahead and find out, guys? Mods, I'm gonna go ahead and make this easier for you. I'm gonna go ahead and mute the audio for the stream right now because I know that the intros cause a lot of issues for you guys, so or editors. Okay, but why do they have bangers like every time? Yeah, like okay, why do they have bangers every time we watch this show, dude? There you go, editors. You guys have one less audio fucking copyright claim to worry about, even though they're unmonetized. Reminder to be yourself, to be kind to yourself, to for all of that stuff. Also, what's up, Combat Calico? How you doing, brother? Karen B, the OP, yeah, that shows a wasp. Karen B. Hey, yo. I like how they drew him drew him so unflatteringly right now. But hey, yo, she's busy every single day except the one time that you call. She's like, "Oh no, I'm free right now. If I get, why don't you go and come over, man?" Like I've just been, not patiently waiting for your call at all. I'm busy for everybody else, but for you, you can go ahead and come over. I'll go ahead and get all the things cooked up, right? Right. You're coming over, right? It's like, dude, yeah.
戦国家ではそうなのか？
そうって。
I was about to say, hey, yo, Ada kun. What a way to ask it, dude. Hey, so that's how you do it at home, huh? Like, what do you mean? What are you implying? I know you're talking about the hair. I know you're talking about the hair, but anybody else can take that and fucking run a mile with it, brother. What the snake? What that snake do though? Oof.
いやほらその前髪。
前
髪？何のことかな？
とぼけた。
別に小読みお兄ちゃんが初めてうちに遊びに来てくれるんだからって勇気を振り絞ったりなんてまでこうしてないよ。
Cute.
さあ小読みお兄ちゃん上がって上がって。
ああ、うん。
He walks in and like Chris Hansen pops out. Take a seat. Take a seat. Yeah, feel free. Take a seat. So Ada Kun, we've seen you. There's been very reports about your what are you doing talking to a middle schooler. Take a seat. No, don't worries. Fucking Chris Hansen, the FBI, just fucking out of nowhere, like. Oof.
あれ？戦国、お父さんかお母さんは？
うちの親、土曜日も勤めに出てるの。
じゃあ僕の家と一緒だ。だから電話には戦国が出たのか。
なでこの部屋2階だから。
Okay, in no way. You either got guts to do shit or shit your guts out. Moose, maybe. Well, my thing is, casually locks her door. If something were to happen, right? Like, let's say that she tried something, I would hope Ara Kun pushes her away and unlocks the doors and goes away. She's like probably like as heavy as a fucking stick, so it really wouldn't fucking matter. Like. Come on, bro. No fucking red flags. Anybody's not getting any red flags at all. Like, I'm over here like kind of sussed out.
戦国、あの黒。
開けないで。
Z。
開けたら小読みお兄ちゃんでも許さないから。
Because that's all.
じゃあ小読みお。
Can I have that? A fucking full. I want that for my my kink room, just fucking like fucking digitized lock and shit. Oh fuck, dude, hell yeah. What the fuck? That's some next level shit, dude. Also, in a situation like this, like where your entire room is pink, it's kind of hard to go ahead and see where the red flags are if your entire room is pink, like.
お兄ちゃん、そこに座って。
そこってベッドの上か？いいのか？
ベッドの上以外に座ったらダメ。
But on the bed.
この部屋なんだか暑いよね。
Okay. Oh, hold. The fact that you're getting excited, my friend.
小読みお兄ちゃんもそのパーカーを脱いだらどう？
僕か？
暑くなくとも小読みお兄ちゃんはそのパーカーを脱ぐ以外ないんだよ。
脱ぐ以外ないとは。
小読みお兄ちゃん、王様ゲームしよう。
戦国。
What the fuck? When I'm thinking about it, let's say, okay, hold on. Let's say that this was your friend. Let me go ahead and shape this in a different perspective, right? You brought your friend over from school who's in high school, right? And your little sibling is there in the room with you. You go out to go get a snack and you come back in and he's taking off his shirt and she's taking off hers. Do y'all not get any fucking red flags at all? Like, dude, you have a girlfriend. What the fuck are your boundaries? Like, like, hey, you should also. That's a fucking little kid, dude. What the fuck?
そもそもお前王様ゲームって何か知ってるのか？
Also, let's play a game. If Ara-kun was your partner, at what point is he crossing a line for you? That's a game. That's a game that we'll play, by the way. That's a game that we'll play. At what point has Ara-kun crossed a boundary for you if he was your partner and he went over to somebody else's place and was doing like
トランプのキングは何も関係ないんだぞ。
知ってるよ。船長さんの命令みたいなものでしょ。王様の言うことは接待。
政治的すぎる。まあ僕もやったことがないから詳しくは知らないけれど、戦国王様ゲームって
Rudy, okay, Rudy, we gotta clear up those camera angles a little bit, my friend.
遊びじゃねえだろ。
なんで？なでこは別にどっちも平気だよ。命令するのもされるのも。
まあ王様ゲームはやめておこう。
じゃあ人生ゲームしようか、小読お兄ちゃん。
人生ゲームか。うん、いいな。
人生の言うことは絶対。
深っ。あ、そうだ。それこそ昔僕ん家で一緒にやったことがあるんじゃないか。
We gotta back it up.
戦国。
What's interesting in this whole thing is we have to remember we're watching this through like his perspective or the perspective that is being shown here. There's a couple things immediately. Remember, at any point this interaction can be stopped. I'm throwing this out there. At any point, this interaction can be stopped immediately, right? If this is happening, and this is why I'm throwing it out there in a psychological sense, I wonder if at some point in time we're actually going to get a point where Senju Gahara might actually split from Ara-kun, even if it's just for a bit, for like growth or something, because it's almost consistent that like either he's helping out others or others are violating like just boundaries at all. Because like it's been like a consistent theme where like even if he's trying to be empathetic and be there for others, it's like consistently happening. So I think personally, I think Senju Gahara, aside from kidnapping him, has been one of the like healthier individuals on here in terms of actually being able to talk and whatnot. But the way that they're pushing her development, aside from like the whole snake aspect and temptation aspect and whatnot, it's kind of weird to think about it. Like Ara-kun is the adult here, and he's being tempted by, the middle schooler, and it's not just once. It just happened in the previous season as well, But what I'm curious about is this, right?
僕か？
暑くなくとも小読お兄ちゃんはそのパーカーを脱ぐ以外ないんだよ。
脱ぐ以外ないとは。
小読お兄ちゃん、王様ゲームしよ
う。戦国、そもそもお前、
知ってるよ。船長さんの命令みたいなものでしょ。王様の言うことは接待。
政治的すぎる。まあ、僕もやったことがないから。
So this is why I'm saying it's interesting, right? Because one, she locked the door, right? Like, let's say that this is actually the door end. She locked the door, and while he may have no control to get out at the moment, he still has control to end this interaction, right? In this sense, she is the one that's playing into it and like driving this whole. And it's interesting the way that this is played, right? Because I feel a lot of people might either be felt really uncomfortable talking about this, which is why I'm like completely like I'm 100 like don't get me wrong, whenever I'm talking about these characters, I'm talking about them like if they're if we were having therapy in a session together, or we were observing this, like what could have gone differently, what could have like changed, what could go, so on and so forth. But like it's interesting in here because like number one, it's like what is driving her actions to start going this way, and number two is why is he still there, right? Like why is he like able to go and maintain himself and have this conversation instead of standing up and leaving? unless there's something that's intriguing for him, right? Arakun's kind of letting it happen. Yeah, but there's more to it than just that, touch me. And aside from what is driving her, it's also what is enabling him to stay, right? Because like, let's say that you had a really phenomenal partner, and this is something I always like to bring up, especially in cases of infidelity or stuff that does happen. It's like, what enabled you to, like, you know, for that to happen? Something must have not have been working in that relationship that you found in someone else. Aside from just the thrill of it, there usually is something that's lacking that leads people ultimately to a breakup, infidelity, something big to go ahead and like happen, right? So in situations of temptation, especially when it comes to couples therapy or situations like this, like let's say I was getting both Senjugahara and Arakun coming in here, one of the questions that I would ask him is like, okay, so in this time period where you're telling me about your time with the snake with Nadeko here, you know, what was a temptation that kept you there? What was something that you found in her that you did not find in Senjugahara that you decided to go ahead and stay and let this temptation happen? What drove that out of you, right? And you can bring up a couple aspects. Maybe it's the purity aspect, it's the so on and so forth. And by purity, I'm putting quotation marks all over that. It's I've helped her, I have to like be there just in case like she needs any other form of help, or trying to get information about my siblings, therefore I have to go ahead and be here for that. But then you start asking, like, how does that justify being led further into what aspects you have there? And then you bring up Hajikuji and all these other examples, and you keep going there. So it's different roles, and this is what's interesting, is because everyone has a different motivation. And by the way, I'm not blaming anyone here. I want to make this straight up. I'm talking about like what drives a person to either stay or do their actions, and that's sort of what we're looking at here. Like, for example, the room is locked. She locked the room, right? So even if he stood up and like tried to exit, it'd be locked. So he would have to ask her to go ahead and do that, which brings up my next question. Is he comfortable with confrontation? Specifically with people that he's helped before? Or is he just trying to appease everyone while really not being able to let go? And I think that that's an issue, a fundamental issue that Arakun like probably has, which is the concept of letting go, of letting others go. Curious. Anyway.
詳しくは知らないけれど、戦国王様ゲームって多分2人でやるような遊びじゃねえだろ？なんで？なでこは別にどっちも平気だよ。命令するのも。
Think about it, dude. This language right here, giving the orders and taking them. Hey yo. See, but with her, number one thing is what attracts you to him. Are you just attracted to him because that's aside from the whole saving thing, propinquity shit that might have happened, but beforehand, like, she can be darkness. It's like, what attracts you to him being like someone that you knew that actually cared about you when you were young? And if so, why doesn't other people that are older than you attract you in that way? Or is it just a complex of like, you know, there's someone that you feel is easily like within your grasp or within your vicinity, which tends to happen. Sorry guys, I know that we're going all over the place, but for me this is beautiful. This is like scenes that you're able to go ahead and dissect and keep going and zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Because this tends to happen. It's, for example, how many of you guys that are in high school, college, whatever, are in relationships or look back and you realize that the relationships that you were in were because you settled for those relationships because they were relationships. They might have not met all your expectations and all of that, but like literally there were relationships that were within your grasp, within your sociological grasp. So i.e. they didn't meet all of your expectations, but they were there and they were present. So Lala, cool. Thanks so much for following. I appreciate it. I mean, there's also the fact that she needs to replay her savior. Yeah, Masters, absolutely. There might be that in play as well. There's a weird power dynamic at play here, which is why it's super duper interesting. Lala, cool. How'd you find the channel? I'm curious, mate. Nitrim, I think she laced a drink in the light novel. Hey, ooh. That changes a lot, bro. Greenpeas, what's up? This is Nise. He's her savior because he essentially like took out some snakes that were like supernatural snakes, Raccoon, that were pretty much like ending her. 2 degrees, yep, a lot of context. But that makes things even worse, Dane. Like, even through that degree of separation, yes, we are talking about this because it's important for those YouTubers' comments that were like, why are you stopping a lot?
What's with these guys?
Oh, hold on.
It's like one of my Japanese animes. What's with these guys? It's like one of my Japanese...
All right, hold on. That stops it. There we go. Perfect. It sure is, Otacon. It sure is. So the reason why I'm saying that, right, is like even that degree of separation, then there is some sort of pedestal work in there. There is a parataxic distortion. Parataxic distortion is pedestal work where you put someone on a fucking, like, even if it's just like, oh, he treated me right, right? Like, let's say I met Dane, right? Or like, before I even meet Dane, the Mad Masters, Kraith, all of the Raccoon, all of these wonderful people are like, Dane is so amazing. You know, Dane helps, you know, the fucking animals that you see whenever you see Sarah McLachlan or whatever her name is, like, you know, in the eyes of an angel, that song. You know, he's out there, he's helped out a ton of animals, and like he's been an absolute goat whenever it comes to anything. And like, you know, just all your friends building this person up, right? And like, you know, I get to go ahead and meet him, and he's like super cool, so such a nice person. And you know, for some reason they're hitting all of this stuff, and all of a sudden, guess what? Dane for me has like, I'm not seeing Dane and his flaws. I'm not seeing Dane or any of the other individuals with the flaws or whatever like may happen in real life. I'm seeing them as this fucking Chad. This Chad that like honestly is doing amazing shit, interacted with me, and like, you know, was super duper cool, was honestly top G, really fucking cool. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, Dane is so cool. He has no flaws. He's an insanely Chad individual. You know, he deserves all this praise, so on and so forth. That's how a parataxic distortion is formed, because I'm not acknowledging the flaws in that Dane might have, or the fact that he might have a great day, he might have a shit day, you know, and other stuff may happen. Like this, it's only been, how do I put it, reinforced, because Ara-kun has come in and done the whole savior shit. He saved her in an aspect where that parataxic distortion may have already happened. So all of a sudden, him saving her, and then him, you know, being there and having this communication, whatnot, is reinforcing this weird parataxic distortion, where something that may have just been like an attraction all of a sudden turns into a strong sexual attraction, and an attraction for what? An attraction for power, an attraction for trying to meet a need that was set by themselves through that, like, that fucking parataxic distortion that they formed of this individual. Because Ara-kun might, I'm going to go through this perspective, if I have Ara-kun, it just solves all my problems. I have someone that cares about me. I have someone that loves me. When my parents aren't here, Ara-kun gives me attention. Ara-kun is there for me when like no one else is there. Ara-kun actually calls me when my friends don't. I don't have any friends, but Ara-kun is there. Ara-kun helped save me from my snakes, from all the fucking supernatural shit. No one else did. No one else even cared about me enough to even know what was happening. You see how toxic that line of thinking can get? It gets to a point where it can literally be like, you got those extreme characters where like, they'll like take themselves out because their partner is the only thing that they see. And it's like, ooh. Anyway.
じゃあ人生ゲームしようか、小読みお兄ちゃん。
人生ゲームか。うん、いいな。
人生の言うことは絶対。
深っ。あ、そうだ。それこそ昔僕ん家で一緒にやったことがあるんじゃないか。
うん、覚えてるよ。
そっか。
そもそも忘れたことがない。
Okay, bro. Okay, Rudy. Where are you looking at?
お兄ちゃんは戦国の体を見てもいやらしい気持ちになったりはしない。僕が紳士でよかったな、戦国。戦国。
The fact that you have to state that for yourself, brother. Some good intentions does harm. Yeah. What pedestal she has placed on him is really loaded and interesting. And it's an interesting concept. It is an interesting concept to just think about. It's like, what pedestals have been placed on him, and vice versa. What type of a schema, right, do you have about a particular individual, right? For example, for a majority of you guys, hey, if we ever meet in real life and you're like, hey, let's go grab a beer, I'll go grab a beer with you guys, or a juice or something. We'll fucking talk. I don't care, dude. Like, well, like, I'm pretty chill. Like, I'm not one that's gonna be like, whatever, right? Like, super duper uptight. It's like, yo, if you're down the area, like, let's go hang out. Let's go do something, right? Let's be chill. But some people have some weird fucking, like, distortions where it's like, oh, this person can't do this. This person can't do that. Like, you know, this, or like, for example, this person, like, the moment I meet him, he's going to be a complete asshole. And it turns out they're actually really, really nice individuals. We all have different schemas, different frames of mind that we work with, that we categorize people in. And oftentimes it's hard to move people from one area to another. right? Which is why when my conversation with Tia Boo was one of the aspects that we talked about, which is like, for example, people will like to classify reactors and only keep reactors in the space instead of seeing them as like, hey, you know what? They're also individuals that are able to go and talk about like different elements. They're able to go and talk about like psychological elements or psychology. They're able to go and play games. They're able to go and do so many things. So there's a lot of different conversations that you're able to go and have. So we all categorize people into different areas in our life as to what we see them as. So that's why I'm interested in seeing like what schemas are they having of one another. Anyway.
最近なんか変わったことないか？
どういう意味かな？
いや、この間みたいなことはないかって。
なでこは別に。
そっか。
でも相変わらず変なおまじないは流行ってるみたいだけれど。
The angle, bro.
学校でか？
そうだけど、うちの学校だけじゃなくて中学生の間全般で、多分ララちゃんたちが今なんかしてる。
なんかしてる？
こないだララちゃんにこないだの蛇の話を聞かれたし。
I just got it. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and the opening is bees. So let me guess if there is gonna be some sort of like supernatural power happening in here, right? Or something happening, especially with the sister that's able to go. Oh, okay, my mind's racing. Hold on. A bunch of fucking... My brain's firing here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll let it go ahead and fight. I'll let her go ahead and fire. No way. This show doesn't just bring up a concept without no reason. This is the second time. For those of you guys that are like, you're not watching the screen or whatever, I'm always paying attention. I read shit really quickly, which is why I watch anime at 1.25, 1.5 speed. Yeah, my neurons are fucking connecting and like it's fucking firing. My thing is... show, and just like in therapy, you never bring something up once. Even if you think that you're sly, and a good therapist will be able to go and point that out. The moment that you go ahead and say something and it's brought up in concept again, don't think that we just let it go. It's important enough for your subconscious to bring it up. A good author will do the same fucking thing. They'll bring in they'll show you, they'll tease you a little bit, and then they'll bring it up. The fact that this is now brought up, the whole sun and moon concept, bees specifically, the first one being kind of like, you know, if you kind of laughed about it, you've been like, all right, like, you know, she got the line wrong, but then you're finding out, oh no, like it's not. Oh, my therapist will tease me the mad. Like it's super duper important. So my brain's like trying to connect as many elements as it can right now. As we go through it, maybe I'll be able to go and flesh it out. Yeah, how long are we in the scene in her room before he asks that question and comes through the situation? Well, long enough for them to be able to play the game of life and then be halfway through, Dane. Which if you haven't played the game of life, that can take a long time. So what does that mean? He's and the fact that he had to talk to himself and say, "Don't get any weird thoughts." You have Senju. No normal person normally has to have that conversation. Most people would just be like, "Whatever, dude." Like, in not terms of like giving in or like talking yourself to not look at someone, right? Oh my, so is that a Shakovian gun? That would be a Shakovian gun in storytelling.
まさか本当のことを話すわけにはいかないから中途半端な感じになっちゃったけど、でも人の手とか借りていろいろ調べてたみたい。
つまり例のおまじない関係ってことだよな。でもそもそもあれって正確に言えば呪いとしてはガセみたいなもん。
Also, this is one of those. I feel like people that have intrusive thoughts may have that too, like not actually interested, but the fear of being interested. But Raccoon, even through that, that's actually something interesting because cognitively that means that you're having those thoughts, right? So, for example, don't touch your phone. Don't touch your phone. Don't touch your phone. Don't touch your phone. It's because inside of you, there's an instinct or there's a habit that's already been formed for you to grab your phone. You normally don't have conversations with yourself unless there's been a pattern that's already been established beforehand for you to do a certain thing, right? So, for example, I'll go ahead and point this out right now. Guys, please remember to go ahead and breathe. You're no longer automatically breathing. Breathe manually. Take that time. Focus in on your breathing. How are you breathing? What's changing, right? Focus in on your breath. What does it take to breathe though? Where does the air flow through? Is it going like, is it nice and fresh when it enters your throat and warm when it goes all the way through? At what point? Because we automate the process that we often forget. Hey, it's a manual portion as well. So how are you guys breathing right now? Are you breathing through your nose or are you breathing through your mouth? Right? Are you taking full air or only a little bit of air? Are you so on and so forth? Because it's a part of our nervous system, right? So like it's something that we're not designed to think about, like how we breathe. But if you stop and you take stop, I know, dude. And that I'll be honest with you guys. I'm throwing this out there as fucking lore as well. Um, it can be a fucking trip, right? And this is what I'm talking about, those automatic thoughts, right? Stuff that we automize and that we behaviorize, like just doing automatically. For example, when you brush your teeth, are you brushing in the middle, left to right? How do you brush your teeth? Think about it. Why do you start that way? So on and so forth. It could like it so on like once you start thinking about it, it's like, ooh, okay. But if it's automatic, you don't have to ask yourself certain things. Those intrusive thoughts may be there, but it's only because of a form of habit. Oh my God, not brushing teeth. Oh, or if you go to the restroom, or you can ask yourself 101 things. Why do you sit? Why do you stand? Why do you do certain things? Do your legs no go numb? Do they not go numb? Do you move to a certain side? Why do you do certain things? Ask yourself that, and all of a sudden, your automatic processes, you're more aware of them, and you can start having these conversations with yourself. What I was going at, why did you have to use that as your example? Now you're going to be thinking about brushing your teeth, going to the restroom, driving even, for example. If you tend to drive, you get on public transport, for example, do you disassociate from the moment that you take off, right? Are there moments in time where all of a sudden you blink and you're like pulling in and you're going to work? Or even driving back? Is there moments where you just disassociate on the road and boom, you're like, are you aware of every single time that you're driving and the car in front of you is braking and you gotta like move your foot over and slightly pressing the brake so you don't hit the car, and then go, and so on and so forth. Because you reach a flow state, right? So the reason why I'm talking about all of this, right, is when we have these automatic states, right, we tend to not think about them because these automatic states are patterns of behaviors that have already been established. The moment that we have to think to stop something, even in intrusive thoughts, it's because that train of thought has already crossed someone's mind at some point in time, right? So, for example, majority of people might have like not really thought about breathing or how they brush their teeth or whatever. So next time that they brush their teeth, all of a sudden an intrusive thought might be like, wait a minute, try to brush your teeth differently. Try and do this differently, right? So those things become important. Another thing I want to point out is the lacy things, dude. The whole idea of purity and whatnot. That's how I unlock my inner monologue. That's how you should unlock your inner monologue. This whole lacy stuff that is being placed out here, it's interesting because what are lacy stuff usually used for? If anyone wants to go ahead and take a guess. Curtains, underwear, 101 other things. Symbols of like brands and whatnot. But what about people who have random intrusive thoughts like kill your parents, Tracy? But the thought pattern has been there beforehand, Raccoon. For example, even if it's not necessarily like, oh, I want to go ahead and kill them, right? The idea of spewing, right, the conversation, or even like there had to be some inspiration that led into something like that. Because we're not just, our environment influences us, of course. So something, right, must have clicked in the subconscious or unconscious where they must have seen a show, experienced something, heard a story, something where their brain can come up with a logical thinking pattern like this, right? Or illogical thinking pattern, if you really want to think about it, where all of a sudden they're like these intrusive thoughts want to go ahead and gain weight because that's something that their subconscious or unconscious might be like, wait a minute, what if it does happen? So it's interesting. It's interesting how that works. But also, Dane, thanks so much for this Prime sub, man. I really appreciate it. Yo, everyone, drop some Doritos for Dane for coming in here and like coming in with the Prime sub. Here we go, brother. That's amazing. Thank you so much, man. But yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's this whole like concept like of like purity and all of that. I forgot I had my Prime. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you using it and helping us out a lot. Um, Lacy is a material that can be used for a majority of things, whether it's working with yarn or like knitting, or you could use it in 101 sewing, 101 items. But usually, in a lot of aspects, they tend to be like hypersexualized in the versions of like, oh, that's such a cool like pure item that you're wearing, and so it doesn't even have to be like purity in that sense, but purity in other ways as well.
怪異が本当に正真正銘あそこまでの形で実現したのなんて なでこの場合だけだと思うよ。多分だけど。
だったら
でも別にララちゃんたちはおまじないの結果を問題視しているわけじゃないんだ。ララちゃんたちは怪異とかそんなのは多分そもそも信じてさえない。
I doubt that.
まあそうだろうな。
むしろそんなガセみたいないかがわしいおまじないが横行していること自体を問題視しているみたいで、誰がそんなものを流行らせているのかを突き止めるんだって。
誰かが流行らそうとしたわけじゃないだろうし、突き止めたところで広がったおまじないはもうそいつの責任ってわけじゃないだろう。
そこがララちゃんっていうかファイヤーシスターズらしいところなんだけれど、ララちゃんたちは誰かが目的を持っておまじないを流行らせたんだと決めてかかってるみたいなんだよね。
らしいっちゃらしいな。まったくこれやっぱりカレンとちゃんと話をしておく必要があるかもしれないな。別に
Bro, I love that you're deep in thought, but I would have been fucking pissed. I'm sorry, bro. You just threw all the money up in the air? I would have been fucking pissed, bro. It's like one of those people that get mad at Monopoly and just fucking flips a table and shit. I would have been like, dude, you're fucking cleaning that up. I was winning, bro. Why'd you do that? But also, like, I'm sorry. If you're talking about your sisters, that's something that you do gotta continuously keep asking questions about, I guess. Like, it isn't something that I have to get involved in, but you probably will. Because by nature of you asking these questions, you're probably gonna get involved in it.
放っておいても良さそうだが、その案件には戦国なでこという実例が含まれているだけにデリケートだ。
小読みお兄ちゃん。
なんでもない。大丈夫だよ戦国。それとなんつうか戦国、お前ってその方がいいよな。いやだから前髪外でもそうしてればいいのに。
だって恥ずかしいし。でも小読みお兄ちゃんがそうしろって言うなら頑張る。
頑張るのはいいことだ。ところで人生ゲームもそろそろ終わりそうだけど、戦国この後は何をする？
ツイスターゲーム。
それは知らないな。
I wonder why she wants to play Twister, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I wonder why.
教えてくれよ。
教えてあげる。その体に。
楽しみだな。あの後、
FBI open up. Rudy, we gotta talk about these Rudy, we gotta talk about these camera angles, my friend. Rudy, look, Earthius, yeah, what is this position? I've never been in this position whenever it comes to Twister. Also, I know, phenomenal pause. You're welcome, YouTube. You're welcome. And it counts as psychoanalysis because we're able to go and talk about this. But also the fact that like thank you. The fact that this is consistent, it's like, Rudy, put down the camera. All right, let's get done and over with this one. Hold the fuck on. Is she on top of him? Remember, at any moment, he could have pushed her off. It's also interesting because snakes, snakes copulate most snakes by like wrapping around each other, sort of like Twister. But it's also interesting because at any moment he could have pushed her off. At any moment he could have pushed her off, right? And it's interesting because it's always like, but that would be against the rules, Ed. Dollar store. Oh, fuck me. But then he would be a cheater. I mean, she already lost, dude. Her hands already came up off of that. Are you kidding me? Like, her hands already came up off of the fucking squares or the circles. It's already game over. But my thing is, guys, all right, in a sense like this, it's like, there's a lot of, in a league that's a 10-point deduction. Oh, there's actually a Twister league? I didn't even know that. He's not someone who can think on his feet, because apparently he's thinking with his dick, right? Apparently. I'm just surprised that it's gone this far, right? Or in this case, his butt. Well, my thing is, where's Mr. Penguino? Where's Mr. Penguino? Here we go. Ada welcome to Psychological Defense for Safety Purposes here, right? Someone's coming at you, right? Wow, like directly at you, right? All you gotta do, right? Especially since you're already on top of you, shrimp to your right or shrimp to your left. In case you guys don't know what shrimping is, quite literally moving to your right or left. It's a good jujitsu way of being able to do anything, and throw them off, right? You're able to go and get the advantage. If you take hold of the arm, you can automatically go in for an arm bar. You can do something different. Or if you really want to go ahead and get a little bit special, right? You guys are about to see some feet. You guys are about to see some feet. Forewarning. Forewarning, right? Hold on. Yeah, make him lose balance, right? Or fucking put your feet right in their thighs, right? Grab them from up top, right from the back. Go behind, right? So that your feet are in their thighs, and then sit up, and that'll cause a choke. My reality is shattered. I lost. So yeah, what you end up doing, Ed has feet. I know, reality shattered. So the reason why he does genuinely see all those different, yeah. But my thing is, I don't think so, Dane. The reason being is because he had to talk to himself about it that way, or he might be oblivious to it. But he also has his OnlyFans content, Ed. You can't just show us that. Sorry, Dan Schneider. Sorry, bro. Oof. I'm giving you guys some free iCarly stuff right now, man. And you guys aren't even like fucking going wild about it. I guess I'm going to have to write a book now. I have to press X at the right time to trigger the bullet time for Ed. I know, the quick time event. What I was going to say, though, I mean, hey, yo. It's interesting, though, because he clearly has some, like, he clearly has to talk to himself to not have these thoughts about her. So what is that saying, right? Like, he might not even necessarily like know her intentions or whatnot, but he does have at least something internally where he has to talk to himself to not see her in a dirty way, or try not to see her in a dirty way. Think about that, dude. It's so oddly specific. Yeah.
どうしてだろう。なんだかお母さんの職場でトラブルがあったおかげで、僕の男の子として大切な何かが救われたような気がする。本当は明日の予定だったけど、まあいっか。
カンバル駿河だ。カンバル駿河。主な武器は加速装置だ。
Oh God。
サイボーグだったのか？
その声とツッコミは荒木先輩だな。
そうだけど、カンバル、お前今家だよな。
そうだ。あ、ちょっと待ってくれるかな、荒木先輩。すぐに裸になるから。
なんでだよ。
何を言っているのだ、荒木先輩。電話でとはいえ、荒木先輩と言葉を交わすのだぞ。ならば裸になるのが礼儀というもの。
It's just common sense, guys. Fuck, you guys don't even know, but below my feet, I'm just completely naked, right? It's just common courtesy. No, guys, I have shorts on. No worries. I think you guys saw after I lifted up my feet up here. But what the heck? I guess, naturally.
こっちが叱るべき常識をわきまえていないみたいな言い方をするんじゃねえ。そして断ることに機会を見つけて脱ごうとするな。
甘いな。どうやら荒木先輩は私のスピードを軽く見ているようだ。
Hey, yo.
全裸であるぞ。
であるぞって。いよいよお前の変態度合いは僕の手に負えなくなってきたな、カンバル。
おやおや、ここは私の家でここは私の部屋だぞ。私がたとえどんな格好でいようと、それは私の自由のはずだ。
お、確かに悪かったな。家の外でマッパになったわけでもないのに、せめて悪かった。
いや、分かってもらえればいいのだ。いくら開放感ある格好が好きな私でも、外でマッパになることなどたまにしかない。
たまにはあるのか？
それはもう銭湯とかであとはバスケットボール部で。
もう騙されねえぞ。合宿の時の風呂でとか言うんだろ。
惜しい。合宿というところまでは正解だ。1年の夏。
It's interesting how he's so led by sex, or sexology is always revolved around him in some way, shape, or form. That's sort of what I'm finding interesting. because like my dude can't have a normal interaction or conversation without sex or sexual elements being present. That's sort of like out of all the things, usually I'm like, oh yeah, like Rudy brought up a sex comment, ooh, right? Or this person, but Arakun is literally revolved around like, and this is sort of what I'm wondering: is it his perspective that all of this shit is being brought up, or like in general, right? And I mean it like this, right? I gotta ask, who is Rudy? Rudy is from Moshiko Tensei Ragun. It's a phenomenal anime, it really is. And why is he always mentioned with camera angles? Oh, Raccoon. Oh, that's a long one to explain. How can someone go outside but never touch grass? True. But it's interesting because my whole thing is like, I think that would make it insanely difficult for him to even try and find like what he's aligned with, right? And now he gets all of the attention. Maybe that's the reason. Aside from that, this is something I'll go ahead and bring up since we're here. I didn't think I'd go this hard for Nisa. Thought you said Nisa was bad, but Nisa's bringing up a lot of good concepts to go ahead and talk about. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, we're bringing up a chart. And physiological needs, we also have sex. Yeah. So whenever it comes to Maslow, right, you do have intimate relationships and friends and whatnot and all of this crap going on right now. But physiological needs include sex or being able to go to like let go of whatever emotions or whatnot. So with all of this stuff happening, right, where's he at genuinely? At what is the highest level that he's hit, that you think he's hit? We can all go up and down. You don't have to have everything met. You can go up and down. The reason why I'm asking this is because oftentimes what you end up seeing is individuals, especially individuals who have like, I don't know how to put it, especially individuals who either had like avoidant attachment growing up. Guess I'll never get, well, you don't have to have all of them met, Callan. That's the thing, is you don't have to have all, like every single thing met in this thing going up or down, right? In order for you to go up or down the whole thing. But it does inform a little bit as to like where your certain goals or motivations may lie at, right? So for example, say that he's in intimate relationships and he does have friends, right? And in that though, guess what the conversation may go through? He might either go to esteems or he may go back down. He may go back down into having conversations of safety and needs, physiological needs, and so on and so forth. The reason why I bring this up is because he's helping others out. He's always making sure that they have their mask on, but he always forgets to put his mask on, which is a safety need for security and concerns and physiological need, even in that sense. So I'm wondering, did the parents treat him differently than they treated his daughter or their daughters? Does he have a weird perspective about his parents where he thinks that they don't really care about them or him, or they're so busy that they don't have time for him? Because for me, this would inform me that there's a dysfunction inside of the intimate relationship thinking pattern. And in that, often individuals that do have avoidant attachments with parents or stuff like that, what you might get is quite literally an over infatuation to try and make sure that those relationships are there. So i.e. sexology or sexual drive or sexual conversations being put in a lot further in than anything else, as opposed to it being like a sexual education conversation. It's just being like a conversation about like, oh yeah, I'm just here, just like wanking, beating the chicken, choking the meat, or beating the meat, choking the chicken, whatever it is, and like, of course you're joking around, but there's no need for that element to be in there, or so on and so forth. And it's not just avoidant attachment individuals, by the way. I'm just fucking overgeneralizing right there. What I'm talking about is individuals specifically, right, that have this whole mentality where like no one's there for them. They are all alone. The relationships that they do have already revolved around the pedestal work, right, are already revolved around the parataxic distortion, in which other people around them, right, will look at them and they're like, wait a minute, like what's going on? Like, for example, why does he have to go ahead and like do the stuff that he does with Hajikuji? Straight up, right? Why does Senjugahara have to call him out on his shit from time to time? Why does Hanekawa not know the boundaries in his own relationship with Senjugahara? Why is he okay with trying to talk to himself about like, hey, don't fucking don't have these thoughts, don't have these thoughts, don't have these thoughts with the Nadeko. And even with the sisters in some way, shape, or form. So all of a sudden, you're having all these conversations about it. You could also describe the hierarchy within sexual needs following this chat. Yep. Emotional, intimacy, connection, feeling, accomplishments. I have a joke about the last one, but I think it works. Exactly. Yeah, so this isn't just necessarily just for the physiological needs. Again, this could be for a sexual intimacy aspect as well. That's why I bring this up, because oftentimes people just think, oh yeah, there's no way for stuff to happen, right? For people to have that like conversation, genuine conversations about that. But it also makes me question. It makes me question what type of love he's genuinely looking for at the moment. Is he at a point in time where he can rationalize that he wants consummate love, like i.e. intimacy, passion, and commitment? Or is the commitment only happening because it's societally pressed, or because of Senjukahara? I.e. if Senjukahara did not press for this relationship, would he even attempt to be in this relationship? That's what I'm throwing at for, because right now it feels, if he feels like a horny teenager that doesn't understand the inferences to what commitment means. And I feel like this might be a driving force for a lot of discussion elements further, especially in the series between him and Senjukahara, or him and whoever he might end up with. In case you guys are wondering, what are you looking about? What are you talking about? And psychologists, especially a good psychologist, will talk to you about different forms of love, right? For example, you can have romantic love, where it's just passion and intimacy, right? Infatuation, what Nadeko might have, if you might call it. And by the way, intimacy. All I know is weeping cats. Fatuous love, passion and commitment. That right there might be your fuck buddies. If you want me to be straight up about it. Empty love. That's sadly where a lot of people go if they don't communicate with their partner, where it's just commitment. You're just with each other because at that point you don't know what else is out there, and change is scary. So you're just committed to one another. If we're going to be realistic about it. Companionate love, intimacy and commitment. That's like a best friend that you just like manage to go ahead and be a part of, but that doesn't make you guys passionate about one another. And so on and so forth. The ideal is to have all three, but most people, honestly, either go with two, because that's sort of what they're okay with, or there's some stuff that is lacking in there. So that's what I'm thinking about. Does our man Ara-kun, does he know, or does he have all three? Or for him, is passion just straight up lust? Does he know what true commitment is, and is he able to go and communicate that? So I'm going through this because for me, this is already spelling out, like, if I was the author and I wanted to take this somewhere, I'd start introducing elements of where he's failing in of himself, to bring it up in the future and bring up, like, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. You know, for example, Senjukahara breaks up with him. I wouldn't even fucking, like, out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're blindsided by some type of breakup, or some type of, like, hey, you need to work on yourself type of thing. Like, most people, I would probably hit them like a truck. But if you're looking at the signs already, it's like, wait a minute. There's no signs of commitment. The way that he's looking at this is probably like a romantic love, but not even like a good committed love. Because again, I ask you, if it wasn't for Senjukahara, would he be in that relationship? Sorry, guys. That's that went a little too deep. Anyway.
私の主催で行った全裸合宿という企画があってたな。廃部になれ荒木先輩、どうしたのだ。冗談に決まっているだろ。こんなたわごとを信じるなんて、もしや本当に荒木先輩の方が私よりいやらしいのではないか。なんだと。どうしたカンバル。うっかり部屋の襖を閉め忘れていた。おばあちゃんが廊下を通り過ぎていった。おばあちゃんがものすごく悲しそうな目で私を見て、無言で歩くペースを落とすことなく通り去ってしまった。そりゃ手塩にかけて育てた孫娘がマッパで電話してたらな。私はもうおしまいだ。これから私はどんな顔をしておばあちゃんと話せばよい。
Actually, yeah, touch me? Maybe.
ショック受けてるとこ悪いけど、ちょっと今日予定外に受験勉強のスケジュールが空いちゃってさ。本当は明日の約束だったお前の部屋の片付け、今日やっちゃっていいか？
Sorry about your emotional trauma, but about the test. Sorry about your emotional trauma, but yeah, I ain't going over to clean up your shit. Like, what?
ああ、もちろん構わないぞ。日付の都合はいくらでも荒木先輩に合わせよう。それじゃあすぐ行く。
We started Nisa on Friday experience. Pretty good show so far.
敵かと思った。敵がいるのかお前には。まったくこんな人目につく場所であんな格好して。はしたないにも程があるわ。お前はちょっとは思春期の女子らしい自意識を持て。ご近所で評判になったりしたらどうするんだ。
あれ、なんだかわからないけれど、兄ちゃんが自分のことを棚上げにしている気配が。
そんなことは一切していない。何してんだよお前、こんなとこで。
奉仕活動だよ。いわばボランティアだな。
何がボランティアだ。得意げに横文字使ってんじゃねえよバカ。
よっと。何すんだ兄ちゃん、危ないだろ。
危ないのはお前たちの活動だ。
Oh, thanks so much, Experience. Appreciate it. There are two specific moments. Thanks for the TOS warning.
お前今何してんだ。
だから奉仕活動だって。兄ちゃんは私を誰だと思ってるんだ。
知らねえよ。誰なんだよお前は。
百鬼夜行をぶった切る地獄の番犬デカマスターだ。
うわ、かっけえ。
スーパークールにパーフェクト。
いや、その姿勢少なくともクールではないな。
そりゃあ私燃える女だし。
やけしね。しかしそんな格好悪い。
Rudy, this camera angle. Rudy, my friend. Yo, okay, we need to get in a line. We need to have a hotline to Rudy, right? Earth Rudius, and talk to him a little bit about like working out different camera angles and how you know.
ただかっこいいセリフを言うという面白芸だけは認めてやってもいいな。
そうかそうか。じゃあこれからはこれを私の持ちネタとして使っていくことにしようかな。
せっかくだからちょっと練習してみようぜ。何でもいいからかっこいいことを言ってみろ。
ここを通りたくば私を倒してからにしろ。
予想以上に面白い。
逆パターン。
1552 got it.
ここは任せて先に行け。とにかくさ、今私いろいろとやらなきゃいけないことがあって
There's a sus angle, dude.
忙しいんだよ。兄ちゃん、話なら夜にでも家で月日ちゃんと一緒にするからさ。それで勘弁してくんない？はい、もしもし。うん。兄ちゃん。
あ？
大丈夫。これで本当にもうすぐ終わりそう。夜に兄ちゃんに披露する話は。
So why does she have to be a hero? That's sort of what I'm questioning as. Why is she designing herself as like a heroic tale, sort of like a hero, sort of like that type of mentality? I have this huge question in regards to this because it means like what expectations are you putting on yourself, little kid, and why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for, and like how, right? Big again, standard questions that you have to ask yourself whenever you're doing psychological practice. So going through this, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, a hero complex runs in the family, but aside from that, it's like, why, you know?
誰がそんなもん聞くか。お前が中3になってまで街中を逆立ちして歩いてるって知ったことが今日の僕の最大の不幸だ。
邪魔。アスタラビスタ。
Hasta la vista, baby. All right, chat. Hey, YouTube. In case you're wondering, this is gonna go completely dark for our Twitch and a YouTube side because TOS, ladies and gentlemen. So it's gonna be completely dark for y'all. All right, here we go. Thanks for the TOS alert. Let's go. I'm listening to this. I know you guys can still hear this. Hey, yo. I mean, they're not showing any booba just yet.
今寝返りを打つな。今お前が寝返りを打つと大変なことになる。
こんな不細工な格好で失礼した。荒木先輩の前なのに恥ずかしい。しかし、
Is she though?
僕もなしでいきなり襖を開けるなど。
I was about to say two big things. She's lying completely naked on a stack of books, for those of you guys that are unaware, you guys are walking through this, and he just opened the door without caring, and it's just like looking in, even though he has a partner and all of this shit, you know?
私の知る限り最高の人格者であるところの荒木先輩らしくないな。
いや、そのへこんでるお前を見たいと思って。
こんな見苦しいものでよければいくらでも見てもらって構わんぞ。さあ、見るがいい。これがカンバル駿河の真の姿だ。
Look at me for who I truly am, with nothing concealed.
なんていうか、そのごめん、悪かったカンバル。責任を取らせてくれ。責任とはなんだ、荒木先輩。
Let me take responsibility. Let's get married. Okay, I'm glad he went, but even then, dude, it's like skip many steps there, my friend. To touch me. You skipped many steps there.
なぜ結婚？
いや、後ろ半分とはいえ裸見ちゃったし。
段階をいくつか飛ばしている。
Well, I like how, wait, I like, oh, hold on. Touch me. You already know the fucking lines that are about to pop up, dude. Holy shit, dude. I just got to you're skipping a few steps there. Touch me. Holy fuck, dude. That's awesome.
その理屈だと、荒木先輩は一体どれほどの数の女性と結婚しなければならないのだろう。
いや、人聞きの悪いことを言うなよ。
荒木先輩、非常に魅力的な提案ではあるが、しかし責任は取らなくてよい。そんなことをしたら私は戦場ヶ原先輩から怒られてしまう。
Hold on, chat. Hold on. In case you guys are wondering. Fuck. My brain's a blasting.
.その代わりと言ってはなんだが、荒木先輩、一つだけお願いがあるのだが聞いてもらえるかな。
おう、何でも聞くぞ。今日に限って僕はお前の奴隷だ。
服を着たいので廊下で待っていてもらえるかな。
So she calls it out as well. You know, she really does just go ahead and call it out as well. Like, is the TOS over, by the way? 1745. Oh yeah, it's over. She called, oh, wrong one. She calls it out as well. Like the whole, if you were to continue this, Senjugahara is going to get mad type of thing. I'm telling you, stuff is slowly leading up to it. In some way, shape, or form. And Senjugahara can literally fucking fight for this relationship and, you know, do whatever the fuck she needs to try and, like, save it or whatnot. But I feel like, honestly, it might just be, like, a reevaluation of, like, where you are and what you truly want and whatnot. So, this is deep. This is actually deep in the playing of relationships and how shit can go from one moment to another. And granted, you still have, like, all the supernatural shit and all of that. I mean, Senjugahara seems more justified the more we get into this series, into tying him up. But aside from that, it feels like an ultimatum. Like, the more I'm looking at this, the more it feels like an ultimatum, Masters. If it's going to get progressively worse, the more that I'm seeing Senjugahara, like, because that seems like an extreme action for Senjugahara to take. Because I feel like Senjugahara trusts you like any normal person would. They would trust you to make a normal decision. And it feels as though she's the one that's actually trying to make this relationship work. Meanwhile, Arakun is just surrounding himself in this environment constantly. You know? So it's starting to like feel more and more like it's getting to that point where it's like a big buildup in some way, shape, or form. Well, we probably see like, you know, it reach that way. I hope not. I hope not. But in a realistic sense, would it reach that sense? Yeah. That's how a lot of people reach that sense, like that like last straw type of thing where they're like, I've given you a lot. I've tried this. I'm the only one that's putting in fucking effort into the relationship. Meanwhile, you're over there in other people's houses. You're like fucking seeing these girls naked, playing Twister with them, doing all of this shit. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to go ahead and like do so on and so forth. Yeah, he's pretty weak-willed and putting himself into situations that he has a hard time saying no to. Yep. I'm like taking this in and I'm like, dude, this is like this can be a lot. This can lead to a lot of heartache, heart hurt, everything.
カンバル、これって
ああ、部活のユニフォームだな。どこに行ったのかと思っていたのだが、そんなところにあったとは。
へえ、練習用のユニフォームか？
いや、それは1年生の頃、全国大会出場を決めた時の記念品だ。ほら、裏返して内側を見てみてくれ。その際のメンバーが寄せ書きをくれているだろ。
お前には思い出を大切にするという概念がないのか？
思い出はいつもこの胸の中に置いてある。
いいセリフだけど。そういえば、実は僕ってお前が実際にバスケしているとこ1試合くらいしか見てないんだよな。そうだカンバル、ちょっとこれ着てみてくれないか？
構わんぞ。髪が伸びているから当時と印象はだいぶ違ってしまうと思うが。
Oh hell yeah, you've grown out your hair.
髪伸びるのめちゃくちゃ早いよな。
うん、そうか？
ああ、普通髪の伸びる速度って1ヶ月1センチくらいだって聞くけど、お前のそれ5センチは伸びてるよ。
まあ私はエロエロだからな。
Is that something to be proud of? Well, I'm really erotic. What?
そう、具体的にはペペロンチーノをいやらしい言葉だと長年勘違いしていたくらいエロエロだ。
食べた時点で気づけ。
家族間通話を家族貫通派と思っていて。ああ、いや、家族間無料を家族間無料。
So here's the thing is, Dane, she already crossed those boundaries, right? And so I know, but like she might have some boundaries that like are set up, right? Like she won't go all the way or do certain things, but she'll still tease. She'll still talk about like sexual elements with him in some way, shape, or form. Like doesn't necessarily have to be overtly physical as nautical was, but she'll joke around in that sense that she'll lead the conversation in some directions like this. So that's why I'm like, huh. It's still funny, Callan. At least I think it is.
ブレスレットを深呼吸しよう的な意味だと勘違いしていたのも記憶に新しい。
それはエロとは関係ないただの勘違いだ。
どうもいみたいな感覚で試合中にブレスレットと言って赤っ端を書いたものだ。あの時のチームメイトのポカーンとした顔は忘れ
やめろ。そのエピソードはリアルで痛すぎる。
ほら、どうだこんな感じだ。
That does look really fucking cute, though. I'll be honest. I think any girl just with like overly big size shirts or whatever is a godsend. It's a godsend. That's just me. That's just me being on. Not even about this character. I'm just talking about in general. You know, like.
こうしているとあの頃の
It doobie doobie doo, bro.
あの頃現役時代のことか？
いや、全裸合宿。
自覚ありまくりかよ。これは捨てると燃えるゴミかな。
荒木先輩、それは燃えるがゴミじゃない。腐ってはいても必要な。
Moshko Tensei fans. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. That was just way too quotable. Oh, fuck. All right. Hold on. That's flammable, but it's not trash. Calling us out, bruh. Hey, yo, I'm included in here, man. I fucking love Moshko Tensei. That's great, dude.
しかし、こういうのはどれも同じに見えちゃうよな。カンバルはきちんと区別をつけて読んでいるのか？
無論人間知らないものは全て同じに見えるものだ。正しい評価を下すためには知識と教養が必要なのだ。
そっか。の割には結局全部ハンサムなんだよな。いや結局カンバルもハンサムが好きなんだなって思って。お前
Why? Because she's not into ugly bastards? Arakun, you're a little late to the conversation. You know what? People have different tastes, you know, different kinks. You know, we all enjoy different fucking stuff out here, man. No need to fucking, like, she might be the world's biggest pervert and, you know, not necessarily into, like, you know, different fucking tags out there, brother.
ハンサムが好きって女子なら当たり前じゃないか。そのハンサムが揃っているのを見て楽しむのも当然だ。つまりこれってアイドルグループみたいなもんだろ。
わかりやすく例えないでくれ。
体重が150キロを超えないとときめかないとか、加齢臭に興奮するとか、そういうことはないわけじゃん。
いや、それはその荒木先輩からそんなことを言われたら私はもうおしまいだ。脱ぐ！今すぐ脱ぐから。
いや家の中でだらしない格好をするのもまた考えてみれば普通だしな、
right.
外でも戦闘くらいなんだろ。今までいろいろ言って悪かったよ。
謝ってほしいんじゃない、荒木先輩。まずは私の話を聞いてくれ。
さっき電話で他ならぬお前自身が言っていたように、ひょっとしたら僕の方がいやらしいんじゃないか。
違う、そのあたりはたまたまそういう本が多いだけで、もっと奥の地層にはハードな
Boy love.
ハンサムばかりが BL でないことくらい分かっている。ほら、よく探してくれ。
おいおいカンバル、探さなきゃ。
Identity crisis.
本当の自分とは。
かくなる上は好意を持って身の潔白を示すしか。
Hey.
お覚悟って大丈夫だ。痛いのは最初だけだ。すぐに気持ちよくなる。荒木先輩もなかなかいい体をしているではないか。
What was that about boundaries? What was that about boundaries? So you tease her a little, and apparently all the boundaries that she has just goes out the window, and then she just tries to take her clothes off and fucking ride her hand all up in you, even though her friend, the person that she was into, you know, knows that she's in a relationship with you. What?
私好みの筋肉だ。実に触り心地が良い。こら暴れるな。パンツが脱がせにくいだろうが。
僕はこれからいついかなるテンションの時に八九時を見かけたとしても、決して出会い頭のセクハラ行為には及ぶまいと、そう誓ったのだった。
Oh no. What sexual harassment? You sure about that? Let's find out how long that lasts. At least he tried to get out this time. Yeah, but it's a oof. My thing is, I like this show. I like this show because it actually brings up discussion elements. It actually brings up the ability to go ahead and, I know, Monogatari actually brings up concepts of discussion that a lot of people are not comfortable discussing, right? Like, at what point do you have to stand up and leave? At what point is it okay? Do you guys find any flaws with anything that's happening? Or anything a little weird? Because I know, like, seeing this as a teenager, I probably would have had, like, been like, oh yeah, this is totally normal, so on and so forth. But looking at it as an adult, I'm like, wait a minute, it's kind of weird, you know? Like, looking at it, like, if I was a teen and I was looking at this, I'd be like, it's fucking funny, hey, get stripped. There's something stupid, right? As an adult looking in, it's like, there's a lot of things at play where, like, no one seems to care about it. I think it uses horny to make audiences uncomfortable, that talking about relationship problems become easier. But even through that, like, my number one thing is, like, just the dynamics at play there, because then it becomes a whole... I was just confused. Sure. Yeah, no, dude, exactly. But, like, you know, because my number one thing is, like, let's say that Kraith has a partner, right? Girl, boy, whoever they are. And they come over, and I know that Kraith has a partner, and this is their partner. And I start messing around with Kraith's partner, like the way that she's doing right now. I'm pretty sure Kraith would lose his fucking shit, dude. Yeah, totally not to go in roar. But like my thing is like it's interesting because for me it's like it's interesting to see characters grow and evolve and have these like again it's like Rudy. People love to hate on characters just for hating on characters instead of looking at like the overall thing. People like to hate on Rudy just for being Rudy, right? And for being a character that's actually growing. With this series, it's like, wait a minute, there's a lot at stake here. There's a lot of dynamics and stuff. And life doesn't just change from one minute to another. It takes a while. Like, if we look at the... Well, hold on. If we're really going this hard. Do you guys want to listen to the ending before I go into this? Or should we just go into this and then get to the ending? We'll look at this first. We'll look at this first, and then we'll get to the ending just so that it's easier on the mods. All right. So really quick, this is the way that system works. This is how change happens, right? We're here. We start influencing the outside environment. That outside environment starts influencing us in, right? It's the mitochondria, right? But through this, specifically what I'm talking about is like change doesn't just happen overnight because it's got to start impacting everything outside. And that's the overall thing that I'm trying to get at, is in this whole system, you have multiple people at play around Ara-Ara-kun, and they have to go through their own changes in order for changes to start happening for Ara-Ara-kun himself, right? So if we're looking at all of this, there's still stuff at home right now that is at peril of changing, which is sisters' dynamics, and probably something to do with the parents up here. So that's something huge that's probably going to start impacting this. School, we already have that. Peer groups is probably where we're at right now. So there's a big sign of change, in the time, of course, being the biggest thing of change that may be happening. But even through this, what I'm getting at is like, there's a lot of systems of change that have to take place in order for our character to truly start changing, for a character to truly start evolving, to truly start growing inside of that. And with that being said, yeah, guys, what a fucking show. What a fucking ride it's been. So far, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm enjoying the shit out of it, dude. Like, this is I thought Nisa was going to be like one of those things where I'm like, it's hyper perverted, like 99% of the time. But if you want me to be straight up with you, I think because of all the shows that we've watched, it's kind of desensitized me to a majority of it. And I'm able to go ahead and have these discussions with you guys without going through like the initial, like, what the fuck? And just being like, wait, where are we going with this? You know, like, why is this going here? That type of a conversation. So it enables us to have more and more conversations. Like, nothing in this affected me to the point where I was like, I have to shut this down, but more like, we have to have this conversation. It's the first time someone has flipped the script on him with this dynamic. True. Tried to do so in a much more feebleness. But that's because all of them have their own personality, and that's actually wonderful that the author did put it this way. Now all of them are going through like their big things. Kind of like value subject. Yeah, personal development is a big subject at school. Yeah, true. At your school. But through personal development, you can bring this up and show it. Hey, this is how personal development happens, and bring up Maslow and all of this other stuff. It feels like they all had different attempts, but overall, I think that this episode, if I were to call it Nisei 2, Ara-Ara-kun's boundaries are fucking garbage. That's what I would label this episode as. Nisemonogatari episode 2, Ara-Ara-kun's fucking boundaries are garbage. There you go. That's the second that's the second title name right there, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, let's go ahead and watch the ending, hear the ending song. I'll go ahead and allow it to play because it's easier to go ahead and cut out. We'll give it a couple seconds of silence before I start it off. That way the what's muted is just the ending here. The art style is cool. Definitely. Appreciate you, Eidolon. I hope you have a fantastic night, mate. Here's a bunch of hearts. Thanks so much for coming to the live stream, man. I really Really appreciate it. Guys, drop a bunch of Doritos for Adel on here. I hope you can join us again, my friend. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Cool. What a cool ending, guys. What a cool fucking ending.